might have actually just snuck down here for a drink. So there's a pan here, so let's go have a look. Always pays to be checking carefully. So we have an interesting question from Nathan on YouTube. Nathan is wondering, do any of the species in this part of the world have sex for pleasure, or do any of them ingest toxins recreationally? Well, Nathan, that's a very human thing to do, the second part. There's only one species that really has sexual congress for pleasure outside of human beings, and that is used to be called the pygmy chimpanzee, or the bonobo. Now that lives in a very, very confined area. It's a very big confined area between the River Cross and the River Congo in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are a close relative of human beings, and so unlike chimpanzees, who will fight generally to sort out any problem amongst the social group, bonobos will have sex, and both same-sex sex and orgies, and they're very promiscuous little primates, or great apes actually. So bonobo is the only animal I've ever heard of that, apart from dolphins of course as well, but in Africa, that is said to have sexual congress for pleasure. And in terms of using toxins recreationally, no. Certain animals will feed off toxins medicinally. So kudu, baboon, black rhino will eat timbuti and euphorbia, which are highly noxious plant species, to cleanse their system of parasites, so intestinal worms, tapeworms and stuff. They have been known to feed off this very poisonous tree to purge the system, but not, I think, in the way you were thinking, Nathan, and not as an hallucinogenic to go dance around the wilderness, because if you did that, you would probably be eaten by something, a lion or leopard or hyena or cheetah or wild dogs, for that matter. So nothing really takes, I think the only recreational pastime of most of the animals out here is survival. So, chatting about wild dogs, they are not here. That's about the only update I can give you. I'm not exactly sure where the packs are at the moment. And at this time of the year, they do wander far and wide. They are mating at the moment and also assessing various different den sites. So ideally, we want to see them back here in the next couple of weeks, excavating old aardvark burrows. We're about to head out into this really beautiful open area, and let's have a look at the sunset. The sun is getting low. It is one of those spectacular times of the day, and I'm very excited about the sun setting because that phantom leopard might start feeding as it gets a bit cooler. And we're just doing a nice little loop. Apart from leopards, it's been very quiet now wandering, as we saw those buffalo bulls, but I haven't seen any elephants this evening. Very few impala about as well. So with this green flush we're experiencing at the moment, there is a tendency for a lot of the herbivores to spread over a wider area and are less concentrated. But I think give it a month, maybe, yeah, a month and a half, and we're going to start seeing nice concentrations of game again as the water dries up. So there is the sunset without a cloud in the sky. We really do appreciate it, Kevin. Kevin Geyer is watching via YouTube. He said, let me explain my absolute addiction to these live safari drives. Kevin says, I'm sitting in the parking lot before my next appointment. I went half an hour early, not to read over my notes for work, but just so I could catch a little bit of the sunset safari. Well, thanks very much, Kevin. We do really appreciate your support. And isn't it wonderful? You've got to see a leopard and hopefully 2 before the end. So Carlos has posed a very good question. He's wondering about some of these big open areas. He's wondering, are they made by humans or are they natural and from grazing habits? So quarantine clearings, which is the biggest clearing we have here on Djuma, is a man-made clearing. That was an original quarantine station for cattle when they tried to cattle farm here, so that area was cleared. But as we move into these, oh, look there, yeah. Hello, little steenbokkie. And actually, for me personally, more interesting than that little steenbok, if we come a bit closer to us, Liam. Is he too close? There we go. A pair of Coqui francolins. Very pretty. And one of the harder francolin species to see. Now, their call sounds, I've heard it described as the sound of rusty bed springs moving vigorously. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Maybe he might give us a call. It is a good time of day for Coquis to call. So there apparently is a bit of argument over the spelling of Coqui francolin. Now, it is a slightly strange spelling. It's C. Oh, now I'm getting confused. C-Q-O-U-I, if I remember correctly, but I will double check for you. C-O-Q-U-I. Coqui francolin. Oh, there goes the female. Now, the one francolin you can get confused is Coqui and Shelley's, well, the female. So, oh, there goes the male after the lady. And that little steenbokkie, oh, is still sitting there watching this going on. And there we go. That is how they get their name, a steenbok, a brick buck. Because they don't move. Their main form of defense is to keep dead still. And because most predators' eyes are set for movement, that I've actually seen wild dogs run within less than a meter from a steenbok lying flat in the ground and miss it completely. A shame. If you stay staring at them too long, they start to get a little bit self-conscious, like they have been spotted. So we'll just pretend, for his sake, we haven't spotted him, and we'll carry on. He didn't move a muscle. So Carlos, sorry, we got sidetracked by those birds there. Now we come onto a clearing like this. Now, Carlos, this is what a natural clearing. You can see it's not completely clear. There are some shrubs and bushes in it. And this is what we call a seep line on a duplex soil. So it's sandy soil on top of clay. And the water seeps down from the top of the hills here. And where it gets very waterlogged in an area like this, your trees are very, very stunted. And your grass species prefer this. It's a bit too wet for a lot of trees. So that's why you get these open areas. There's another one coming through here. And very important, and this is where a lot of your grazing animals will spend quite a bit of their time, your zebra and wildebeest and such. So very interesting, and a really great question, Carlos. There we go, another edge of a seep line. So, Marie, speaking of sunsets, we're about to see the last, let me just sneak past this tree, the last of the sun disappearing behind the Drakensberg Mountains. And Marie is wondering, does the sun set at different times in South Africa? Yes, it does, Marie, as it does all over the world. So, every day it'll be setting a little bit earlier as we head into winter. It's just disappeared. There we go. We can see the Drakensberg Mountains. So every day it'll be disappearing a little bit earlier. The sun will also be rising a little bit later while we go through our winter months. And then as it turns after winter solstice, every day it starts getting a little bit earlier. The sunrise and the sunset starts getting a little bit later. So we are about to head into our winter time changes. So me being me, I can't remember all those numbers, but I will double check them for you now, or you can just log into blog, I think, or WildEarthTV's blog, and you can see the time changes there. So we will be departing half an hour later in the mornings and half an hour earlier in the afternoons. So just for those, from the 1st of April, we will be going out on sunrise safari. Pushing wrong button. I got to check what this is. They even wrote it down for me so I didn't make a mistake and cause absolute pandemonium and confusion. Okay. Sunrise safari will be changing to Central African time, 0600 hours to 0900 hours. That is the sunrise safari. Oh, I'm making a hash of this. And then it will be from midnight to 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're in the eastern part of the United States. And it will be 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific Western Time. And that is the sunrise safari. So 6 a.m. Central African time to 9 a.m., 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern Standard, and 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Western. Sunset safaris now. It'll be 15:30 to 16:30 Central African time and 09:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Eastern Standard, and it'll be 06:30 a.m. to 09:30 a.m. Pacific Western. So hopefully I didn't cause too much pandemonium or confusion, and we managed to get through that without too much stress. Basically, it just means everything's going to be half an hour later from the 1st of April. I don't know why they just didn't ask me to say that. That sounds a lot simpler to me. I don't know what you guys think. So, Musical's wondering why that Steenbok was by himself. He probably wasn't. There would have been a female close by. They don't live in herds. They live in monogamous pairs. And they have very small territories that they live in. So there's no need to live in a herd. They don't move around. So they stay within a small area of about 4 acres. And that's where he'll live for his life until he gets eaten by something. And they will be completely monogamous till one party gets eaten, and then they will start actively searching for another mate. Now, monogamous is probably the wrong word, so they will mate for life, they will stay together, but male and female Steenbok, if they happen to find a sneaky bit on the side near the edge of the territory, they will take advantage of that as well.
You see line tracks on that road?
Yes. Male or female lion tracks? Liam thinks he's spotted some lion tracks. I just want to check if it's the Birminghams from a few nights ago or it's fresh tracks. It's the Birmingham's from a few nights ago. There we go, you can actually just see the male lion track over there. Well spotted though, VM. It always pays to double check these things. There we go, bump, bump. But it is the Birmingham's from the night they stole Tingana's dinner. So we are we're quite close to where the mystery leopard is, and it is a little bit darker. I would prefer it to be a little bit darker still, but go have a look. Let's go have a look, and if we got nothing there, we'll just, as we do, send you across to another leopard. No big deal, guys. Nothing serious. Aren't we lucky? So as it's got cooler as well, you might find he might move out from under the thickets where he's sleeping just to enjoy the cool air of the evening. So fingers crossed we do get a decent visual of him today. We had quite a fantastic visual of him on yesterday's sunset safari, and it's amazing to see that progress, even in that short time, how he became far more relaxed around the vehicles. Okay, we're nearly there. Okay. So we're really hoping he's in the tree. So as I've been doing every time we've been approaching here, car into low range, keeps the revs very nice and stable and quiet, avoids big fast movements. And I am talking, I want him to get used to the sound of people talking and learn that it's not a threat. I mean, nothing he needs to run away from. So we just go ever so slowly. Sorry, I've got a bug in my eye. There we go. Fortunately, I'm able to extract these things myself. No need for outside help. You see exactly why. Bim just said he brought his long knife. Exactly why I'll extract them myself. Okay. Is he gonna be up in the tree? He is. Okay, you got him, Bim. He's in the tree. We're staying even further than we were earlier. There he is. Isn't that spectacular? It is quite far for any sort of real identification features to stick out. But it's just hope he relaxes and carries on feeding. I don't want him to rush down the tree, so I'm not going to move at all from where I am now. Look at that, isn't that incredible? Just to think he was running at high speed from vehicles not even 24 hours, or maybe a little bit more than 24 hours ago. So it has been, even though we couldn't see him, that just sitting nearby here and talking and being in the area will have just given him that little bit more confidence that it is we're not posing a threat to him. You can just make out the crunching of bones from here. Now these might not be the best photographs I take, but they're going to be a few of the more rewarding ones, that's for sure. That is incredible. So a little bit of patience with these animals goes an incredibly long way. Unfortunately, I think he might finish this kill tonight. But we've got a good start in the habituation process. I know we do have such fantastic viewings of leopards on kills and trees, and this is definitely, in terms of the actual visual, probably not quite up there, but for me it is one of the best I've had since I've been at Safari Live. Diana says, I swear I thought I could hear him chewing. And well, I can, Diana, so it is possible that that top mic is picking it up. Vim, how do you feel about this?
Happy.
Vim's very happy. Vim likes filming phantoms. As he said to me, the harder the leopard to film, the better before we headed out today. Valeria in Massachusetts would like to know, what would the name phantom be in one of the local languages? Well, Valeria, I'm going to have to go ask and get back to you. Sorry, I think Aubrey's just looking for me. There we go. Jamie's taking care of it for me.
Nothing happening. There is a trailer store here in the Milwaukee flat. The only vehicle here. Okay. Can I get the space or still one more time?
Look at that, he's relaxing, feeding quite nicely. I'm not going to try go any closer just yet, but once it's darker we might be able to get a little closer. And I have brought along a special thing with us because we don't know where he comes from. So I've got my little poo collector. So this is to collect leopard scat for genetic research. So definitely tomorrow morning, if that carcass is finished completely, I'll come in here and we'll have to scratch around. I'm pretty sure he's defecated quite close to the base of that tree, and hopefully we'll be able to get some scat for DNA and send that off for that ongoing Panthera genetics project. Shannon is asking me to take a picture and then zoom in to show you. Unfortunately, Shannon, even with my camera in this light, I'm struggling. So it's not a very clear picture. You can just see it's a leopard. You can just make out a few rosettes. So unfortunately, even with my camera, you can see very high and grainy. And he is very far away, even for this lens. So that's what you're seeing while he's feeding. So if we zoom out, if I zoom out, that's my camera at full zoom, is what I'm getting. So very similar to what you guys are seeing. We will try and get a little bit closer as it gets darker. But for now, I think just staying here and keeping a nice distance. But we can get really relaxed while he's feeding in the tree before we even think about moving an iota or even a meter off the road. So Anne in Texas is wondering, is it instinctual for leopard to carry their kills up trees, or they're taught by their mother? It is very much instinctual, and a lot of animal behavior out here is all instinctive. It's not learned behavior. There's very, very little learned behavior amongst specifically the predators. You might find a little bit with cheetah, and occasionally with lion and leopard, but again, I think that's more happenstance than actual teaching itself. So definitely instinctual to take kills up the tree. Tingana and this young male has been seen, and his tracks have been found quite regularly.
Negative in the Tambourine tree, she was stood earlier. Yes, over there. What's your position?
So Sheila says, when he finishes this kill, he will move on. Will this not interrupt the habituation process? It most certainly will, Sheila, but whenever you habituate an animal, that's how it is. I mean, we'll have to track and find them again. That's the only way to do it. The good old-fashioned way. And it is a very rewarding way to do it as well. it'll reach that far. I have tested him with a spotlight this morning already, and he was fine. Just to give you a little bit more light in that position. Look at that.
Just moving down at Drakensberg Drive, New 7.
Just repositioning so you can feed on it better. Oh, sorry, that spotlight is. I just need to find a good place to balance it. So BJ, I was wondering, is this unknown leopard in another leopard's territory? He most certainly is. He's in Tingane's territory, but he is a nomadic male, so he'll move around between different territories. But he has seemed to be, around here for a while. Sorry about that. The spotlight decided it didn't like its precarious position I balanced it in. Let's try a little bit less precarious then. That's definitely more precarious. So I'm trying to balance it. There we go. To the right. Oh yeah, I think we got it now. Verum was trying to catch me looking silly while I was trying to balance spotlights. It's an absolutely magic moment sitting here with this leopard. The sun's going down. He definitely knows we're here. He's listening to me, but he's chosen to ignore, and he's just carrying on feeding. So he is still quite far away from us. Oh, look at that. He might jump with the kill to move it into a better place. No, he's just going to pivot. So I'm going to sit here for a bit longer before I try to get a little bit closer. I want it to be a couple of shades darker, and so he's feeling more in his element. See, now he's actually turned his back to us, so already that slight more element of trust being shown now already, just from sitting quietly, well, not so quietly, but just from sitting and keeping the distance initially, and just being patient with him. Well, Desert Eagle, who's a new viewer on YouTube, welcome. And it says, hey Brent, is this live? You're getting a bit close to that leopard. This can't be live. Well, Desert Eagle, we're not close to a leopard yet. We're busy habituating this guy. He's not used to game drive vehicles. And so, sorry, as well, we are very much live. So you're watching this leopard while I sit next to him. And in a little while, you'll see how close we can get to a leopard that's been fully habituated. Because Jamie has got the dominant female leopard from this area at the moment. And she's also got a kill, probably about 2.5 kilometers from where we're sitting right now. So, Desert Eagle, you want to see how close we can get to a leopard? I think now is the perfect opportunity. While I try move a little bit closer to this guy, let's go see how close you can get to a truly habituated leopard.
What an awesome afternoon that we've been able to spend as much time as we have with two different leopards, two different sightings, both with kills in a tree. Karula's been having a rather extended break from her meal, still panting heavily with that enormous belly of hers. She's feeling a little bit full and rather hot and tired. So there you go, Desert Eagle. Desert Eagle apparently watching us and wondering if this really is live, and the fact that Brent was as close as he was to a leopard was astounding him. Desert Eagle, just to give you a rough idea, we're very fortunate. This is a particularly relaxed leopard. Her name is Karula, and she is about, what would I say? Let's go with 7-8 meters away from where I am. And that's the position she chose to be in, not that I chose for her. So 24 odd feet away, depending on where you're from. So I really hope you are enjoying your live experience. Now it's got a little bit cooler, so hopefully she does decide to go up towards the tree. I'm pretty sure Brent has explained this to you, but I'm just going to mention it as well. The reason that we're staying with Karula, where we didn't stay with Tingana, with his impala kill and at night after dark with spotlights. The big difference, of course, being that both Karula and the mystery leopard have their kills up a tree, so any extra distraction won't lose them their kills, whereas with Tingana, his kill was still on the ground, and in fact, he did end up losing it that night anyway. So that's just one of the reasons and the explanation behind our different approaches to different sightings. And of course, if I thought she was anywhere near where her den site is, we would also have closed this sighting, but I don't think she is at all. We're much further north to the last known den site. Here comes Aubrey. He's also going to come and join us in the sighting, and hopefully going to provide us with some spectacular lighting. Oh, flies. Karula is sharing a problem that is plaguing Jandre and myself as well, and that is the fact that the mosquitoes down in this drainage line are absolutely... Sorry, just give me 1 second. Just making sure that the light isn't blinding Aubrey. Just want to check up with him. There we go. So, yes, the mosquitoes down here are definitely out in full force, and that is the problem. And that's what's plaguing her. Aubrey, is my light okay, or is it blinding your guests? Okay, copy, thanks. Just making sure that Aubrey's guests don't have a face full of LED light. It has been a truly picturesque afternoon. that we've spent with this stunning leopard. We've been down here in the drainage line. Deandre and myself barely moved since we got down here and first spotted her. And we've just had such a wide variety of bird calls. Different birds have come through at different times. The starlings, the barred owlet, the grey-headed bushshrike. And the wonderful thing about drainage lines is that you see far more than you hear. And in fact, Chandra and myself even had an elephant come past, but it was so quick that by the time we'd registered what was happening, it had already disappeared from view. Sitting in a drainage line, plenty of shade, leopard on hand. Kevin Geyer, the reason I'm chuckling is Kevin Geyer is just describing his approach, or his current approach to the Safari Live drives. Now, Kevin would like to describe, in his words, not his, the extent of his Safari Live addiction. He has arrived 30 minutes early for his next appointment and is currently sitting in his car watching. And he arrived 30 minutes early, not so that he could prepare for the meeting, but so that he could watch a little bit of our show instead. Well, Kevin, I'm very, very happy to hear that. And I'm glad that we've been able to provide you with something wonderful to look at in those 30 minutes before your appointment. There's no better mood setter, I think, than spending time with these magnificent animals. And speaking of spending time with magnificent animals, I think Brent has managed to get a little bit closer to our mystery leopard. Let's go and have a look.
Look at this, guys. We're so much closer, and he's almost giving us the quintessential leopard silhouette. And look at that. He's still feeding. We're probably we'll wait for it. Here it comes, the back of the leopard, ears in the fork of the tree with the fading light behind him. There it is. Isn't this amazing? Just that little bit of patience has really paid off with this guy. We're now probably 50% closer than where we were. And we're just going to enjoy him as a silhouette for now before we pop the spotlight on. Wow. I am in awe at the moment. Incredibly special moment. It's taken us 3 drives. This is the 4th, which is really, really great. It means there's definite potential for this leopard. It seems like he heard me. I'm going to pop the spotlight on quickly so you can have a look. Now you can see how much closer we are to him. We can actually see him, and when he turns his face, we might actually get some decent screenshots and photographs that we might be able to get some IDing features of this guy. Sorry, I'm a bit wobbly. I got to hold the spotlight quite high to get above those bushes. isn't this magnificent? Now, where have you come from, mister? Oh, we might get a face look. There we go, he's looking. He's not actually looking at us. Oh, that's the flies. Now, if he stops and starts feeding facing us, I feel like I've won a battle. There we go. Maybe he's a bit older than we initially thought. It's difficult to say. I hope you guys are getting some incredible shots. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, he doesn't have that big developed dewlap like Tingana, so a little bit younger, but he is going to be a big boy. Now, this is definitely one of my most memorable leopard sightings since I've joined Safari Live.
Well, it just happened.
And it just happened, and it happened live, and I was able to share it with all of you guys out there. Now, it's very seldom you get to see this type of habituation process, and it's been amazing. And thanks for the support, guys, because I know it can get a little bit boring sitting in one spot. But as I often say, patience is the most important thing when it comes to seeing these things. Looks like he's finished feeding. He's going to come down the tree. Or he might just have a snooze over there and a bit of a clean. Oh, look at that. Now, Vim, are you both hands on camera?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you to hold the spotlight for a second so I could try to get a photo for spot patterns.
Okay, give me a spotlight.
Okay. So VM, I'm just passing the spotlight to VM. I'm just going to try and get a photograph of his face so we can get some IDs. Let me just make sure my settings are correct. They look good. We definitely go manual focus in this light. Okay, one more second. Sorry, VM. I just want to make sure that wasn't slightly out of focus. I felt it might be. I'll lift your head again, mister. So all the settings are right. We just need him to lift his face and look at us again. Come on, mister. I know you're cleaning, but still. Okay, here it comes. No, not quite yet. Well, we're definitely getting the one side of his face. Now we just need the other. Come on. Sorry, VM. He's very intent on cleaning. Okay, come on, come on. Enough licking of paws. We just want one shot of your pretty face. My arms are getting tired holding up my camera. Oh yeah, I think it's coming, VM. Sure. It's possible that he hasn't looked up because he feels quite secure in the tree. So normally, even with a bout of licking like this, often just look up and check around. Oh, and then I'm sleeping. Here it comes. Oh no, he's still cleaning. At least we got. There we go. You are stunning.
He's moving there, blood.
There we go. Looks like he might come down now. What a beauty. I'll try and get a gap through there. There we go. I'm just trying to make sure there's light on his face. Going to come down the tree, and I've lost sight of him now. Oh, there's his tail. I just saw his tail disappear. Now, he might head off for a drink now, or he might just lie down there. Now, we've had such a fantastic sighting. I don't want to put any more pressure on him tonight, and I'm just hoping he's going to give us that one more morning with him. But very exciting. Let's have a quick look here. So, it's going to be quite difficult, but we'll have a look. So it looks like he's a 3, possibly 3 male. And there we go. Maybe 4-3. 3-4, sorry. He was quite fast. So there's definitely 3 on the right. The left-hand side is the one we're struggling for at the moment. Go out. You might be able to get a nice one to the left there. There we go. I think he's a 3-3. Isn't that spectacular? You can see he doesn't have that big developed dewlap like Tingana yet, but notice he's got a very distinct right ear as well. Let's just zoom in there. It looks like a little nick off the top. But that is awesome. So exciting. Yay! So even if he's not here tomorrow morning, we will be here to see if we can collect some of his feces. I'm just gonna... Oh, he's actually watching us. He's come a bit closer to us. You see him there, Vim? I might have to move, but he's still cleaning. He's actually come closer to us. There he is. Maybe with the darkness, he's feeling a bit more brave. And there we go. You can actually see that little kink in his ear I was talking about there through the gap. About all we can see. Since he's come closer to us, I'm going to just try start the vehicle, and so I'm just going to keep my eyes on him when I start. And he's just cleaning at the moment. So again, start the car, let it run, and he's continued to clean himself. So maybe we might be able to get a shot of him again on the ground. So there is a nice little clearing there. And Vim and I, when we first came in here, we very much zigzagged in. And now I'm going to do something quite strange. Now, the reason for that is I don't want to drive directly at him at any point. So instead of... I'm going to have to do a bit of windy driving. That's fine. So instead, you really, especially with unrelaxed animals, it's much better if we do it this way. My reverse light on. Nice little open clearing here. even though we are getting a little bit closer to him, it might look to him like we're actually going away because we're reversing away from him. And we're sleeping just behind that termite mound. Look at that. This is amazing. I'm just going to try and get us on. I just got to try and sneak us out into the right spot here. But he hasn't moved while we've been moving. So he's just behind here. How much? Yeah, that's about the end backwards. So it does seem quite awkward the way I'm driving, but I'm just trying to ensure we don't drive directly at him. We're gonna stop and have you got him there, Vam? There he is. Oopsie. Not looking too perturbed at all. Look at this, isn't this special? He has picked up, he's heard something, and it's not us he's concentrating on. Maybe you can hear Tingana miles away calling up for territory. Just judging from his behavior at the moment, I'm quite confident. I'm going to turn my front lights on, see if I can. There is a place where we can maybe try to get a view of him where he's not behind so much grass. And you see, leopards are so much more relaxed at night, specifically ones that aren't normally too relaxed, like this gentleman. Hey, big boy. There's a hyena. Guaranteed there's a hyena arrived. You saw him hissing like that. That's not at us at all. Let me just check. I think there's a hyena here somewhere. Did you see that hiss? That was impressive. Thanks, Wayne, and many others who say this process of habituation has been completely fascinating. Well, it's so nice. I mean, he's not the most unrelaxed leopard I've ever worked with, but it is great to see such progress in such a short time. I do think there is something that he's hissing at, and it's definitely not us. Okay, so now another very important thing, we're not going to move when he's moving. How much of the kill's left? There's a fair little bit up in the tree. Sorry, there's a branch in front for you guys. Okay, it looks like he's stopped now. There we go, I told you. I knew it. Howard's here. So that's exactly what he was hissing at. Coming to pick up the scraps. I'm just going to see, there he is. There. Sorry, I wasn't watching my monitor. I'm just so focused on. He's lying just there behind those bushes and just catch his eye every now and then. But that hiss, just that pure unbridled aggression that he showed, was definitely not at us, but at the spotted hyena. He's picking up all little bits of dribs and drabs that have been dropped. Now, here's a perfect example why we only really view leopard kills that are in trees at night. Now, did this hyena come for our spotlight, or did it smell? Difficult to say, but I know for a fact in other parts of the Sabi Sands, the hyenas have definitely learnt to check on spotlights at night. And look how full this hyena is. Our hyenas around here don't seem to be hungry at all. They always seem to have a full belly. We're picking up all the little bits and pieces that have been dropped by the leopard is feeding. It does look like she's got some fly bites that are bleeding in her left ear. So yeah, I'm just going to go, wait, I know what to do. I'll put that one on the hyena so I can check on the leopard. So he's still there. And not too much of the carcass left. Maybe enough for one more morning with this guy. What a special sunset safari it's been so far. So, Desert Eagle, our new viewer from this afternoon, says, this guy, I assume referring to me, said he knew there was going to be a hyena there, and then there was a hyena. Well, fortunately, the leopard told me. I just saw that snarl, and that type of aggression with leopards is generally reserved for the scavenging spotted hyena. Yes, you, miss. Let's see, he's lying down. He's fast asleep. There's not too worried about the hyena. His meat is safely up in the tree. So that hyena's picking up a tiny little bit of bones and meat that the leopard has dropped while it's feeding. Now, one of the reasons hyenas are so successful is their absolute patience. I've watched hyenas spend 4 days under a leopard kill to literally almost eat tiny bits of bone fragments that were dropped. But they are incredibly adaptable creatures. I'm just going to check where he is again. See him anymore. So we're going to try to get one last view of this leopard as we move out of this area, and then I think we'll leave him be, and we'll definitely be back here first thing tomorrow morning. So let's just try to get one last glimpse. So obviously he could be a little bit more nervous, but you just saw from that snarl he's far more focused on the hyena being here than on us now. There he is. Maybe he'll give us a nice view again. How's that, Ben? Sorry, try and get the spotlight in a good spot. Oh, he's behind a tree for you. I think I need to just go forward for VM a little bit. Sorry guys, just it's a bit awkward. VM's behind me and I'm not in the best spot. But there we go. So he's now only about, what do you say, VM 15?
Maybe 20.
20 meters from us. And just to think how far we started off viewing him from. Now during the day, we're probably not going to get this close to him, but we'll definitely be able to get closer than we did on the first day. Happy, fat and full leopard, and I'm not going to push our luck and try to go any closer this evening. Maybe in the next time we come across him, he'll let us come a little closer, fingers crossed. But what a spectacular couple of days it's been with this leopard, and couple of drives, and isn't this a fantastic culmination? But we're going to leave him be. Keep hissing at the hyenas, big boy, and hopefully we'll see you bright and early on tomorrow's sunrise safari. In the meantime, let's go see how the queen of Djuma is faring with Jamie.
This is so exciting this afternoon to have had that experience and to have got that leopard to the point where he is so relaxed. In the meantime, the queen is starting to show signs of stirring from her grassy throne and moving off towards the kill. Or was that perhaps just a false alarm? She's still very hot and very full and quite happy to just enjoy some relaxation. And the drainage line wall with all of its thick soft grass is a perfect spot for her to lie. And she's picked a good spot as well to have this kill. There's lots and lots of water close by. There's a whole series of pans on our western side, and actually our eastern side, sorry, there's quite a few of them. So whenever she decides she wants to go and have a drink, there will be easily available water. Head still drooping. Blair, who is watching in British Columbia, Blair wanted to just know a little bit about how you spell Karula, since there's been there's been a little bit of a disagreement about it. The traditional spelling of Karula's name and this particular individual Karula. Now, I've encountered one or two animals called Karula in my life, but this particular individual, tradition sort of dictates it's spelled Karula. The difference being that that's not actually how it would be phonetically spelled. It is not an English word. It is a word meaning peace from the local languages, or peaceful. And according to the phonetics of the way that you would spell that in that language, it would be Kurula. So that's where the confusion is setting in. That, in fact, is the technically correct spelling. But the Karula with an A is the spelling that's been adopted from the beginning of her life. So I think probably if we're going to choose, just let's stick with what we know, Karula. And the meaning is the same. I mean, anybody whenever you say Karula, we know exactly which leopard we mean. Oof, getting so dozy. And bear in mind, of course, exhausted. Bear in mind that a lot of the local languages have different approaches to spelling in different dialects. So something that might be spelled one way in one language, just a couple of 100 meters or 100 kilometers down the road could be spelt completely differently. Whoop. I'm not sure how clearly you heard that thunk of the dung beetle that just decided to join us on the bonnet. It crashed. It's amazing how dung beetles, for all of their evolution, they haven't evolved a suitable landing mechanism. Oh, tunneling under my fingers. It's incredible how strong they are. Oh, he's pushing up against me. Shame, buddy. Sorry, I'm just turning down my Game Drive channel at the same time. Had it turned up a little bit too loudly. One of the species of, whoopsie, sorry dude, dung beetle. Shame, I don't want to add to his further disorientation. So I'm going to let him be on his way. Look at the spines all over his feet for gripping. Shame. That was such a crash landing into the bonnet. All right, buddy. All right, I know. It almost feels like he's biting me, but he's not. He's just so strong. Pushing with his legs. All right. Okay. You're fine. He's just got those spurs that dig in. So it does feel almost like he's trying to chew his way out. Okay, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to return him to the dark. Here we go, buddy. Sorry, I can't get out to give you a gentler landing, but they're absolutely fine. They're so resilient. I mean, you heard how hard he hit that bonnet, and he was absolutely fine. Oh. While all of that was happening, we lost Andrew. I didn't even realize. I wasn't even paying attention. Bye, Andrew. Alexandra and myself were actually sitting in complete pitch darkness while you were with Brent, just due to the fact that with all of our rain that we've had, it has certainly brought a variety of insect life that we haven't otherwise seen this season, and that includes dung beetles, moths, and as I mentioned earlier, the mosquitoes. And it feels as though Chandra and myself have been gaining a new bite per minute, if not 2 new bites per minute. I'm not sure which of us is winning here, but definitely have incredibly itchy toes and ankles, which is the spot that they love. They've been plaguing Karula as well. And mosquitoes can and do feed off other animals apart from humans. Let's give it a bit more light. There we go. Valeria, I'm really glad that you've enjoyed this particular drive. Brent and myself both playing a patience game in a different way. Brent in terms of making really difficult decisions about how to approach this leopard. And we're so fortunate to have someone with that level of experience in doing stuff just like that. And myself just waiting for Karula to decide whether or not she's actually going to get up this afternoon, or if she's decided this is where she's going to stay. But spending time with animals and having patience is one of the most important qualities that you can have out here, or the most important approaches. It's the secret to wildlife filming. The best shots and the most exciting moments, the most exciting sightings sometimes happen on the spur of the moment, but most of the time it's hours and hours spent with the animal. And we couldn't be luckier than to spend our afternoon sitting in a peaceful drainage line in the shade. She's picked a perfect spot. She's put her prey in the tree, so she could well be here tomorrow. It's just a perfect setting for all of us. We are really lucky. And if you as the viewers are lucky, we are probably luckier. And I'm glad that we can share it with you. Now, my next step is to figure out how I'm going to get out of here. The only road runs here. Right, so pretty much in the way, or right next to her. I don't want to drive that close to her. I feel as though it's going to upset her and her sense of personal space and boundaries. So I'm going to have to try and figure out if I cannot get out of this drainage line a different way. I was very much hoping that she would decide to move, maybe go back and have a quick snack on her kill, so that she'd provide us with a path out of here. But it seems as though she's decided she's not going anywhere, as is, of course, her prerogative. We shall just have to... Yes, she's utilizing the royal prerogative, and we shall just have to make our way a different route. Find our different way out of here. I'm sure we'll manage it, no problem. Hopefully, this morning, we should be able to come back and find her, same place as she is now. She'll probably at some point tonight go for a wander back to the cubs, give them a good feed, and then return to the rest of the carcass. I imagine that that's what she's got planned for her night. Apart from the odd ear twitch to rid herself of mosquitoes, she's not showing any signs of getting up just yet. And on the subject of the various insects that are currently fluttering all around us, Hope Community has suggested peppermint oil to help us out with our mosquito bites and to keep them at bay. Thank you. That is a really useful suggestion. Now, if I thought, well, I mean, you know, you never predict how an afternoon is going to go, but if I had thought about putting bug spray on before I went out, that would also probably have helped. As it is, though, at the moment, any strong-smelling bug spray like that, even if I had guests, I would probably be telling them not to put it on close to her. I would pull them out of the sighting so that they could spray themselves down with bug spray and then come back in. Because that strong smell of bug spray really does upset animals, as does the sort of the ch sound. So that initial application I've always made guests do away from the animals. Peppermint oil, I don't think they'd be too stressed by. I'm gonna have to go and find some peppermint oil to put on my itchy bites. Luckily for me, mosquito bites don't stay itchy for too long. Keith, one last message from you. Keith in Long Island has just said that these sunset safaris have cut so much into his productivity, but that he would not have it any other way. Fair enough, Keith. I'm fortunate in that this is me being productive. This is my productivity for the day. I think that's I wouldn't have it any other way either. We've been so incredibly lucky to have spent the afternoon, and I'm really thrilled because it's been a long time since I've seen the Queen of Djuma, or it's certainly felt like a long time since I've had a nice long sighting with her. So to be able to spend this amount of time with her is really very special, and I'm very excited to start again and find her once again on the sunrise safari tomorrow. You'll just have to tune in and see if she's managed to squeeze the rest of the Inyala in overnight or if she has to come back. Well, we're drawing to the close of another beautiful afternoon in the African bush. I'm just going to say a big thank you to Jean-Ray for all of his wonderful camera work, and to Jerry in final control. And I'm also going to say goodbye to you all on behalf of Brent and Viam, and to say thank you on their behalf. They're just heading back to camp now. So have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and thank you so much for your questions and your comments. We really do appreciate it. I'm going to leave you with one last view of a sleepy, curled, spotty cat.